Yeah, we're here. It's good. Thank
Okay.
you so much for accepting this invitation to exchange ideas about what it is study abroad. And you were asking me, that about if I had lived abroad. And,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to confess my age, but, I finished school more than almost 40 years ago or more. So back then, the people my generation, we would normally go to school here in Peru. It was very rare to go to boarding school. However, back then we had, at the end of my schooling, we had this like, civil war. Some people call this, but we had terrorism. So some of the families send their children abroad, but not as many, and before everybody went to school just, to the school near your house. And then we would go to university here in Peru. And then, when our parents thought we were, mature enough, people would go to do a master's degree maybe abroad. But lately, I would say, as the IB program is more and more popular in Peru, and now you would be amazed at the number of schools that are offering the IB diploma, which is a very high standard. I think it's more or less the same standard as, schools in Germany or Switzerland. It's very demanding, no?
Mm-hmm.
So, like at the same time, the schools are encouraging students to go abroad earlier than it was in our time,
Mm-hmm.
no? Or in my time. In my time, I don't know your time, you look younger. So Germany, may be one of the destinations. Maybe it is not the most popular destination for Peruvians because normally there should be, like a kind of relationship between the school that you attended and then the kind of university that you would be looking for. So because Spanish is our mother tongue, I guess lots of students are encouraged to go to Spain. So, I would think Spain is the main destination abroad,
Mm-hmm.
no? And
Mm-hmm.
also it is not so expensive. So in Spain, you can find the different kinds of universities, but the public universities are also, like in Germany, it's almost free of charge. The amount that you have to pay is less than what you would have to pay in Peru to attend a
Mm-hmm.
private university. And that kind of education is attractive, no? Then other destinations can be, England. Holland is also a very popular destination now because you can study in English.
Yes.
And most of the schools offer bilingual, education. The second language, after Spanish is going to be English. And
Mm-hmm.
then I would think in Peru, the third language would be German.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there is a growing interest in that the students go and study in Germany. Still, I think it's for courageous people because you need to learn, very well German in order to go to a public university in Germany. So as it is, it's a tendency that the students more and more are looking to study abroad. And I would say it's also more and more that people are looking into Germany. It's still not a big destination, but I would say, more and more it's going to be a bigger destination. So the students, uh, or the parents and the students, I think they would be interested in learning, what it takes to be a university student in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe Mia, you can explain us, from your experience, and also as you are part of Humboldt Institute, what it takes for a Peruvian student to be able to go to a university in Germany, and how Humboldt Institute can be a bridge, for the Peruvians to access the universities.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes, Lucrezia, I think Germany is a market. Maybe it's just not as popular because so many people are not aware about the system and how we work or how we could support them in studying at a German university. So I have been with the Humboldt for 15 years. This is really a long time. And I have been
Well,
in.
it speaks highly, no, about Humboldt Institute. I mean, it is for us as representatives of Humboldt Institute. I mean, I love working. I really appreciate and I love working with Humboldt Institute.
Mhm.
And I guess maybe, I don't know if it's Humboldt Institute culture or it's also a little bit of German culture, but everything is, it flows. Everything is so clear. The rules are very, very, we know exactly what to expect.
I think we try a lot in detail to inform our partners, the parents in advance, what's going to happen. Yeah, I'm not quite sure if all schools do it that way, but we take everything quite serious. Yeah, and our focus is still on learning German. Still, we have this fun part of leisure activities, but it always has been and will be that German is the main focus. It's in the center. So I think Humboldt is a kind of a little special, yeah, and the flow, how things are going, and especially how we keep the cooperation with our partners is very good. Yeah, and we try to make it very transparent also in the fee. So what you see is what you get exactly. And other schools, they do sometimes have different prices. They split it. So you need to calculate, okay, this is the administration fee, and then you have to add this and this and this and this. And we just have this full immersion weekly fee. So everything is transparent and included. So it's very clear. Ever since I have been working for Humboldt, I was involved in this program, German plus higher education. So I have been in charge of all the students who would like to study at a German university afterwards. So we, of course, had students from Peru years ago, from Mexico, Panama, Colombia, so Chile as well, Argentina. So the education, the general education is more or less the same. So all of them, they complete after 12 years and they finish with the título de bachiller, no? So the IB diploma is becoming more important and is growing, and that means the education would be on the same level as the German Abitur. Yeah, so that allows students to apply directly at German universities. But this again means they need to speak German fluently. So they need to have a C1 level and they need to pass a certain German test successfully, such as the TestDAF exam or the TELC C1 Hochschule examination. We prepare linguistically for these examinations, but it is of course a long-term German course. So when you, for example, have a student with 0 German language skills, we say from 0 to hero in 35 weeks.
35.
Yes, yes. When we talk about students who finish the regular school with the IB, no, not with the IB, but with the Titulo, they need to undertake the Studienkolleg first in Germany. I'm not quite sure whether you heard about it. This is the foundation program. It lasts 1 year. And in order to apply for this foundation program, students need to have a B2 German certificate. And this takes 25 weeks, always when we talk about a total beginner. So 5 weeks for A1, 5 weeks for A2, 5 weeks for B1, and then 2 times 5 weeks for B2, because B2 is divided in B21 and B22. So at the end, we end up with 25 weeks of intensive courses at the Humboldt Institute.
And then they can go to this other program.
They go to the Studienkolleg, but the process applying at a Studienkolleg is always a very tricky, because the way how to apply as an international student is unfortunately not very easy, and therefore we are offering this service, the application service, in order to give a specific backup for our students while they can focus on learning German. We're gonna take care of the whole application process. So we create the application accounts, we are searching for suitable Studienkollegs, we're gonna look for the application procedure, the application deadlines, we're gonna check when the entrance examination takes place. That means it's not just about applying at a Studienkolleg. We're gonna do the applications, and then they will be invited to take an entrance exam at these Studienkollegs. So we spread the applications. We do at least 3 applications. So at the end, they have 3 different invitation letters from different Studienkollegs. And this entrance exam is always a German test, and also mostly a mathematic test, depending on what they would like to study afterwards. So you have to imagine most of the non-European countries, they do not apply to the regular German Abitur. So their academic background is below, and they need to fill this academic gap by doing this 1-year Studienkolleg. So we have, of course, many international students who would like to study in Germany, and they all apply for the admission to the Studienkollegs. And Studienkollegs cannot accept all applicants, so they need to make a pre-selection, and therefore students are invited to sit this entrance exam, and let's say the best top 50 will be accepted and the others unfortunately not. And in order to increase the chances for the admission in at least one Studienkolleg, we do minimum 3 applications. So they have 3 chances to participate in Studienkolleg A, B, C, and maybe they are rejected in 2, and then they have 1 more option. We can do even more applications, but as we need to charge or have to pay for each application, we then need to add an additional fee for each further application we do, but we can do, because I have been dealing with the last student I had dealing the applications with. I did about 6 or 7 applications, so this would be possible as well.
Okay, so but there is a fee. So this service of applying to the student college
Yes.
is you pay a part from like an additional cost, and it's only for Humboldt Institute students.
Yes, those, because it's very time consuming. So what I need to invest, the time I need to invest to do the applications, it takes a lot of time. And when we do the applications, you have to pay for the applications. So they charge, because they need to evaluate international school certificates. And this is again time consuming, and therefore they charge. We have, let's say, there is one organization in Germany which is called UniAssist. And UniAssist has more or less 90% of all German universities as a member of UniAssist. And UniAssist is checking on behalf of the university's requirements, the admission requirements, the international school certificates. So what I need to do is I need to send the application not directly to the Studienkolleg or to the university. I need to send it to UniAssist, but I have to send it for each application. So I need to do different applications for each single Studienkolleg or university. So it's a little bit tricky, and we need to pay for every single application, and therefore we charge this additional fee.
Okay. So, like, you would have a student who's studying, whatever number of weeks they need to fulfill, the 25 weeks, let's say. So they have a level and they're going to study, I don't know, 10 weeks or 6 weeks. So they're going to pay to Humboldt Institute the fees per week, no, of the German course?
For example, when you have a student who already has a certain level of German, they
Yeah.
need to do the placement test anyway, in
Yes.
advance. So we can calculate in the most suitable and in the best way the duration, how many weeks are necessary in order to complete B2, which is required in order to apply for the Studienkolleg, for example.
Mhm.
This fee is more or less due in advance. So if we are talking about a long-term course, when it's about 15 weeks, the first 10 weeks in a row are always due in advance. And the second installment, covering 5 weeks, can be paid to a later time. Yeah.
Mhm.
When we have a student who speaks already on a B2 but would like to refresh his German skills for about 4-5 weeks, it would be possible as well. We also offer the application service. Yeah. The fee for the
And
German,
Mia, these application services, it wouldn't cost extra, or they would have to pay
they would have to pay. They
for
would
the
have to pay.
for the
So
3 applications.
yes, so there's 3 applications. We charge 860 euros, and it includes the research of suitable Studienkollegs. We do the application accounts, we do the application itself, we check the deadlines, the application deadlines. We do upload all the required documents. So I take care that the applications are done correct, in the correct way. And when we send 3 applications via Uni Assist, we need to pay for the first application 75 euros and for every additional application 30 euros.
Mhm.
Yeah. So there might be a cost which the Humboldt pays for the student of about, let's say, when we add a few more, 150 euros cost. But the invest I need to do for all this preparation in advance. Therefore, we do charge this in addition. Yeah, because it's a lot of workload.
Yeah. No, it's an excellent service because you are doing this, Mia, all the time. So you know exactly the what is required as a person that is applying for a single time in their life. Maybe, they don't know exactly, maybe they don't complete, all the paperwork on time. It's more
And
challenging, for the first time you do it, and then maybe it's the only time you do it, it's challenging. But you are an
exactly.
expert.
And as mentioned in advance, the way how to apply is made so very complicated for international students. And sometimes I think if I would apply from Peru or any other country for a Studienkolleg in Germany, it is, it's like sometimes searching the needle in a bunch of hay. So this is a saying in German. So because you have to really go deep into the information given by the different websites, and the application deadlines vary. So there is no red line which applies for all Studienkollegs. So it's a big thing actually. And I'm, of course, always very happy when we have long-term students. And my intention and my wish, of course, is at the end that that student will be accepted at a Studienkolleg. So as you can imagine, I put all my effort in this, that at the end, they're gonna go from the Humboldt Institute with a very good level and they can start studying. And I'm very happy that I could help so many students already within the 15 years going that way. And
Mhm.
at the beginning of this year, I received such a lovely email. He was from Poland and he did his German course in Berlin at the Humboldt Institute. And his dream was to study in Germany at a specific, it's in Aachen. It's a technical university. That was his dream. And I made his application. He was accepted. And today, well, no, at the beginning of this year, he sent an email because he was just about finishing his bachelor degree. And he was telling me how thankful he is, and he still is aware that we made everything happening. So that is the best applause, yeah, you can get actually for what you're doing.
Of course. Of course, not to see your students graduating from university, it must be
Yes,
fantastic.
yes,
It is fantastic.
yes,
So
it is.
going back to the student Colia, so I didn't know that they have, like different requirements. So and different deadlines and different procedures.
Mm-hmm.
So you must know them very well. So how different are they, these schools?
Okay, in Germany we have these federal states. We have Bavaria, we have Baden-Württemberg, we have North Rhine-Westphalia, etc. Yeah, and all these federal states do have Studienkollegs. Most of the federal states have only 2 Studienkollegs. Yeah, only 2. And there are federal states, they even do not offer any Studienkolleg. So we have a certain number of Studienkollegs, and they do offer different branches, like different core subjects. Yeah. Those students who would like to study mechanical engineering, of course, they need to do the T course for technical programs. If somebody would like to study biology or medicine, they need to do the M course for medical programs. Those who are more interested in business administration or social studies, they need to undertake the W course. So in advance, I always gonna ask you, Lucrecia, what would they like to study in general in Germany? And if you tell me, okay, Mia, this student would like to study automotive engineering, I can tell you, okay, he needs to do the T course at a Studienkolleg. Based on that information, I already can give you a selection of suitable Studienkollegs because I do know the deadlines, the application deadlines, I know the language requirement, and I can tell you, okay, we can consider these 3, 4, 5, 6 Studienkollegs, for example.
Okay, so not all the schools offer the same subjects.
No,
No,
no. I would like the website, I would like to share my screen with you because can I do that actually?
I
Yes,
think so.
I can. Okay, there is a website of Studienkollegs in Germany. This is also available in English. And you can go through this. Here, English. Okay. So the Studienkolleg is actually the bridge, yeah? The bridge between their school in Peru and studying at a German university, yeah? There is part German language course at the Humboldt Institute plus Studienkolleg and then entering university. Here is the website is very antique. Yeah, so we are not responsible for this website, but it just gives you a little idea about what it is all about, these Studienkollegs. So we have here the federal states, which we say Bundesland in Germany, and we have here in this list all the federal states. And then you see the name here, like in the second column, you see the names where they are located. And then you see the city, and here Kurse, which means courses,
Yeah.
there you're
Aha.
gonna see the courses they offer.
Mm.
So the Studienkolleg, which is in Heidelberg, offers the M course, T course, W, G, and S. The G course is for humanity programs and the S course is for language programs, someone who would like to study English or whatever it is. Then we have Studienkollegs, which are connected to technical universities. The one in Karlsruhe, for example, is only offering the T course, yeah, and so on and so on. I do have a sheet where I put a lot of time looking for the application deadlines for each Studienkolleg. So I do have that, and I also can make a selection by doing by knowing, okay, the student will finish B2 by that time, and we are still in time to apply at these 5 Studienkollegs, for example. Yeah. There you're gonna find types of Studienkollegs. So you have the different types, MTWGS, for example. Then you find a little bit more information about what is a Studienkolleg. Probably we do have, yeah, most of them are state-running Studienkollegs, and we do have just a little number of private Studienkollegs, but those I consider are always state-running Studienkollegs. The Studienkolleg itself, it lasts 1 year. And at the end of this year, the students need to sit an examination, and this examination, when you get the certificate, it is equal to the German Abitur, and then you apply at German universities. So this is the way how it works for Peruvian students.
College, they have a cost because I see that there are some, and some are public.
So most of them are state running, like public Studienkollegs. They do not have really costs, but maybe they have an administration fee you need to pay in advance, like 250 euros. So this is not much, yeah. Because for the books or for the paper and the teaching material you get, so you pay a little amount. I don't know. Here is the information about cost. How much does it cost? You see, a fee between 100 and 400 per semester.
And
Is 7.
what about the, so you should plan 700 for rent, clothes, okay.
Yeah.
So with 700 euros, a student can do a living. But
Yes.
if the schools are located in different parts of Germany, how does the student find a suitable accommodation?
Sometimes Studienkollegs do offer kind of dormitories, yeah, where you can apply for, but we have so many platforms where you can look for a room, yeah. And I always say, well, what I can do is sending links where they can search for an accommodation. Usually Studienkollegs can also provide information on that, and you always have to be aware your student won't be the only one who has to face all those difficulties, because all of them are from international countries, right? And they need to have and find accommodation in city A, B, C, or D, right? So yeah, I think it's tough, but when they have, because I have been knowing very many students, they really had the aim in this young age that they would like to study in Germany. So they were, I don't know, when you ask me, when I was 18, I had no clue what to do, to be honest. So I think this is difficult, but some are really eager and they do know what they would like to do. And this is wonderful because when you have the inner idea and this energy and this motor, I'm sure you will be successful anyway.
So you would say that most of the students that choose Germany as a study destination, they have their ideas more clear about the future they're looking for, their studies?
Probably not all of them, because I think more people would like to study in Germany than actually do, because it's also a matter of getting a visa. I mean, we receive so many inquiries from countries I do not really take serious, yeah, especially from from countries they cannot afford our courses. Yeah, when we are talking about Morocco, Pakistani, and so on. So these are these are countries I know it's not. These countries are not made for the Humboldt Institute because last week I had a conversation with an agency from Tunisia, and I was very clear from the very beginning, and I told him how expensive we are. And then he said, okay, this is just not possible for the families in Tunisia to pay for. And why would I tell them any or give them any idea about something they never could afford? So this does not make any sense. But of course, there are so many very big benefits, especially studying at a German university, at a public university, has a very high standard. So it's different to Latin countries. My sister is married to un Panameño, yeah? So I'm a little familiar with, and I spent half a year in Chile, and I do know that the public schools and everything what is public is not high standard. When we are talking about school education, when we are talking about hospitality and so on and so on. So in Germany, I think it's the other way around. The private universities do not give a better education at all. So I'm always for education in a public university, and they're more or less for free. So the thing, when you have students who would like to study in Peru, they choose a private university, or if they're gonna go to England, for example, they are quite expensive, I think, even the public universities. But in Germany, they of course need to invest, and the investment is called German courses. But when they are studying later onwards, it's basically free of tuition, and this is a very big benefit.
So where are most of the students coming from?
Well, we had a very high number of Russian students in advanced Russian and Ukrainian, but ever since this conflict, yeah, the number decreased. But we have always had quite a good number from the US, also from Mexico. We had students from Guatemala, not many though from Guatemala, but also Peru, Chile, Argentina, Brazil as well. And Panama, because we have a partner, and Venezuela. We had also students from Venezuela. We had students from Kazakhstan for that, and Taiwan. And I have the feeling that we get more requests from students from Taiwan nowadays, because it's easier with the visa, I think. But yes, Central and South America always have been involved in this program we are offering, German Plus University.
So it's super international, students from all over the world.
Yes, it is. And I had years when I could travel quite a lot for Humboldt in order to present the programs we are offering. And these were my best years because I love to travel and to talk to more to even parents and their children, because you can reach them directly. Yeah. Probably you did the Alfie or the ISEF workshops as well. So this is B2B. So you try to connect and get new cooperation partners all over. But when you reach parents and you can convince them about the program you are offering, how you teach German, about the full immersion program you do in Germany, etc., and you catch them, these are our students from tomorrow.
And Mia, do you advise students only from Constance and Berlin, or you also assess or give, this information to the students in Lindenberg and Bad Schussenried?
It always depends on the age of the students, because when they finish school in Peru, they are already 18 years. most of them. So for me, they are ready to attend an adult course location, and our schools in Berlin and in Constance are designed for grown-up students, like 18 years and older. Most of the students are in their 80, 90, 20s. Yeah, we do have elderly students as well, but the majority is in their 20s. Yeah, because they are just about finishing school and they take a long-term course. In Lindenberg and in Bad Schussenried, we have teenagers, the young learners. Yeah, but for the program, for the university program, Constance and Berlin are the right course locations.
Because, well, in Peru, if you follow the Peruvian program, most of the students will finish school with 17 years old, being 17 years old. A few would be 18. If they
Okay.
follow the Peruvian program, if they follow like the IB, yes, they would normally be 18 years old when they finish school.
Today I had an enrollment from a Turkish student. He wanted to enroll for a long-term program in Berlin. I realized when doing the enrollment that he is not yet 18. He will turn 18 in November. So I told this agency, well, we cannot accept him in Berlin because in Berlin there is no exception at all. So 18 years and older. In Constance, when we know, okay, he is more mature and would like to stay with grown-up students, we can make exceptions and accept the students in Constance as well when they are just about turning 18 years. The reason is Constance is a small university town, yeah, everything is safe, etc. Of course, the parents need to exempt us from the guardianship because we do not offer the supervision 24/7. But in case the parents say, okay, we want our students to be safe, he should go to Lindenberg or Bad Schussenried and can then change course locations once he turned 18, then this is also very fine for us.
But you can study to work, I mean, you can start working with a student while they are still in Lindenberg or Bad Schussenried.
So, sorry, say that again.
You can start working with a student. Let's say the student finished school, no?
Yeah.
And they are 17. And
Yes.
the parents want to send them to Lindenberg, for example. So, and they know they want to apply to the student college.
Yes.
You can start to work with this student at Lindenberg.
Yes. This is what makes it also very special because when these students are our own students, yeah, I can contact them anytime. We talk a lot. I mean, most of them are staying in Constance or in Berlin. So we are in a very deep conversation, like in a very close conversation. We are very close connected. And it's always when I do anything regarding the application, an update will be sent, yeah, to the student, and if requested, to the parents as well, or in this case, to you as the agency, that everyone knows exactly, okay, what is the status right now. So yes, this definitely is possible. In former times, I used to go to Constance quite often to talk in person, but you know, ever since the pandemic, I changed my working life a little because I work 30 hours for Humboldt, and I do work in a psychiatry as well. So for that reason, it's very difficult because my office times are always Monday and Tuesday. And in case I would go to Constance on one of these 2 days, I even would be less in the office than I used to be. So this is difficult, but being in contact, in a very close contact with the students definitely is always on a very high priority.
So you work a lot online, I mean, virtual, like these kind of meetings with the students.
When we do have Or by telephone. So I always say, okay, you can go down to the reception and just give me a call. Yeah. And in case they would like to have a Zoom meeting, we can arrange a Zoom meeting. And also with parents in advance, when you have, for example, parents who would like to have a conversation, a virtual conversation before they enroll their child, I'm very open to do so. Yeah. To explain again. Sometimes I do such kind of conversations for the parents and their children. They can ask questions when, like I give an instruction about what we are doing, about what we are offering, and later they can give me their questions and trying just the best to support them in whatever way it is, right?
Mm-hmm. And Mia, you were talking before about the entrance exam to go to the
Yes.
student college, and you said that they're going to test two basic things, no? German.
Mm-hmm.
So that how well they're going to be because they're the students and they have the placement test and they have the courses, so you know where they are. But they're also going to be tested in math.
Mm-hmm.
So the students need to take, the math lessons, you know, in another place, or is the Humboldt Institute also helping the students to improve their math level?
So mathematic lessons are not offered, unfortunately. But what I always do, because I have several samples of entrance examinations from different Studienkollegs, like the exam, including the results, the solutions, okay? And I do provide these links to the students to prepare themselves and to get a better feeling on how this examination looks like. The mathematic test is, let's say, more or less basic mathematics. So everyone who is finishing after 12 years, they should be fine with that. Yeah.
Mhm.
And in the Ukraine, I can tell you they only have 11 years of school and then they are allowed for the Studienkolleg. But I got the feeling that especially in the part of mathematics, they are not that advanced or other countries. So when you would like to have such kind of a sample, how it looks like, I can send it to you. Yeah, just to have an idea.
Yeah, send me one exam to see if I
Okay,
can solve.
yeah. So you can try
Okay.
actually.
Yeah, I can try. I
That's
can
okay.
try. But I will tell you if I fail. And let's say, okay, so we have gone through these students who have done 11 years of school. They're 17 years old normally, or maybe 18 years old, and they want to go to a student college. So now we know about this path. But what if a student has completed the IB and they have the 12 academic years required? So then what would be the path?
With the IB diploma, we would need to check the the subjects as well. Let me just, have you ever heard about the DAAD?
ADD.
That? Have you heard about them?
Oh no, what is that? DAAD?
Yeah, it's like the German academic exchange service, and you're gonna find, and I'm quite sure they have a branch in Lima too. And because they are working worldwide and they provide international students with certain information, etc. And they have very interesting information on their website. So you're gonna find a scholarship database, for example, and you find the requirement overview, for example, admission database. So you are from Peru and you choose, it says, what type of grade report do you have? And you say, bachillerato profesional. Oh, no,
No, that
es normal.
no,
I
IB
think yes.
diploma. Um,
Okay, but just going back to the regular bachillerato, yeah.
Bachillerato, no, because bachillerato professional is somebody who has finished university.
Okay, when we search for IB diploma, there is also a website, recognition of the IB diploma in Germany. And there you're gonna find, let me just check, requirements for the recognition of an IB diploma in Germany. There are so many things which need to be fulfilled. And we always would need to go through this, that everything is fulfilled in an IB diploma in order to be accepted at German universities. So you see that students must take a total of 2 languages at level A. Yeah. So I'm not familiar with the curriculum of the IB diploma, so we would need to go deep into the final certificate and checking whether everything is fulfilled. And then they say a social science subject from the subject group 3 is mandatory, like history, geographics, economics, etc. So yeah, there are certain certain points to consider. But mostly
So
students,
depending on what university or subject you're going to study, the requirements change.
no, I think with the IB diploma, you are even allowed to apply at any German university for any subject, but you have to show the proof that everything is provided, like um, the subjects with the grades on level on this level A, for example, or IP. I don't know what this is all about. And because I cannot evaluate international school certificates, especially with the IB diploma, I have difficulties. But we definitely need to make sure that the IB diploma your student's gonna have allow for direct admission. Yeah.
Okay. And then let's say if uh, with the IB diploma, so they IB diploma, Humboldt Institute can also give them the service of
Yes.
university applications.
Yes, we do. We
Yes.
definitely
So they
do.
would need to fulfill the requirements, study German for education service, and then you would help them not to go to a studying college, but to apply to the university.
Okay, so the IB diploma allows direct admission to a university. No Studienkolleg is needed, okay? Provided all the requirements are fulfilled. So this is the most important fact. When they do the IB diploma, the lessons are taught bilingual, probably in Spanish and in English. So they will already be fluent in English. They, of course, could apply for a bachelor program which is taught in English only, but most of the German universities, even though the program is taught in English, they require a specific German level because they say, okay, the student is studying and living in Germany, we want him to more or less can communicate at least on level A2 or B1. Yeah. The service we do offer, this application service, we offer it always in combination with a German language course at the Humboldt Institute. I don't know, the internet connection sometimes stucks, so I'm not quite sure whether you still hear me or not. Lucrecia?
Yeah, sorry. I mean, the connection was a little bit weak. Yes, I was asking, so in order to access the services of university application, the student needs to be enrolled with the Humboldt Institute for the German courses. And I was asking for what is a minimum time that a student can enroll? Is it 4 weeks, 10 weeks? So what is the minimum time a student
But
can
5 weeks.
study with the home 5 weeks. So a
Yes.
minimum of 5 weeks enrolled, and they can access the services of the university or student college application.
Yes.
And I think I didn't quite hear if there are public universities in Germany teaching the subjects in English,
Yeah.
or even public universities.
You can have a look here. You still see my screen, right, Lucrecia?
I do.
Okay, so when you go study and research in Germany, there is a very nice database. Let me just check where it is. So international programs. So we have, of course, international programs. You select English
Yeah.
and you select a bachelor degree, and you already see there are 244. What is this? And then you can, for example, select a specific core subject. So when we are talking about, let's say, mathematics and natural sciences, there should be 70 in the result. Yeah. So we can check this right now. And it says the University of Applied Sciences in Rosenheim, they offer the program Applied Artificial Intelligence, which is very important nowadays with the IA. And they start with a program always to the winter semester, and the language is English.
Oh,
Yes.
amazing. Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know that you could study a subject, like artificial intelligence, or it's you're gonna get your bachelor's degree studying in Germany in a public university, which is going to be a low cost for the student. Doesn't mean low, brain. You still need the brain, no, and put all the effort, and you can study in English.
Yes.
And need, a minimum, of course, I can imagine how difficult it would be, living in Germany and not be able to have a nice conversation, at a certain level, a friendly conversation with the people around you.
Exactly. But I always need to double check directly on the website, because this is just an overview in order to really make sure whether there are German language skills required or not, and if so, what level is required. I always check the website directly, because then you see the application requirements, and in case there is written German language skills on a level B1, I can tell you, okay, that student would need to enroll for 15 weeks. This only applies when we are talking about students who can apply directly at universities, because Studienkollegs are always in German. So if you have a student who finished the bachiller and would like to study in English, he still would need to undertake the Studienkolleg, and the Studienkolleg is in German. So it doesn't make sense at all to search an English program, because at the end of the Studienkolleg, he will be on a C1 level anyway. But in case...
but that would be, like an alternative or something attractive for those students who have, finished the IB program or have completed, let's say, a couple of years in a local university.
Yes, and I can tell you, those students in Peru who finished the regular school after 12 years and did at least 1 year at a university in Peru are allowed to apply for direct admission as well. Okay? The 1 year at a university also fills this academic gap. So either 1 year at a university in Peru, or they do the 1 year Studienkolleg in Germany. But then they can apply directly. Might be interesting for them studying.
So let's say if you finish the 17 years No, the 11 years, I mean, you're 17, so you completed 11 years of academic school, and then you do 1 year of university, they can apply? Yes.
No Studienkolleg. But isn't schooling in Peru 12 years? I thought so.
No, the Peruvian degree is 11 academic years.
Ah, okay.
But many schools now, there lots of schools, and every time it's more and more popular that the local schools, the private schools, are offering the IB diploma, which doesn't mean that all of the students going to this school are going to the IB diploma, because the IB diploma, not everybody is interested, because let's say you want to go to a Peruvian university. Okay, it's an option if you want to do the IB diploma, but it's not a requirement. So you can do like, the regular Peruvian school degree and then enter university in Peru. So that's a path. So let's say somebody chooses the path, of doing the 11 academic years. Then they go to university, and after 1 year, they think, oh, I should have gone to Germany. And they apply with this 11 plus 1 university in Peru years. Yes.
Yes. But they need to stay in the same study branch, okay? They cannot just change from economic to mathematics. So they always need to stay in the same study program they have chosen in Peru.
Okay. So if they would like to change, they would have to go to the student college.
To be honest, I have never had a case like that, because most of them, they finish school and start learning German right away, and then undertaking the Studienkolleg and doing this way. Yeah. I think I've never had a student who changed the program itself. So I cannot tell you how easy it is and how that works at the
Because
end.
in Peru, I didn't really understand this part exactly, no? In Peru, yeah, when you finish your school, then you apply to university, and many universities, you apply, let's say, to science. Science can be like engineering, for example, no? Or you apply to, we call it letras, no? So that would be like psychology or sociology, and the 2 first years are general studies. But of course, if you're in science, we don't know exactly, which branch you're going to take. So at the beginning, you're taking more math, obviously, as if you are going to social studies. But you can do like 2 years, the 2 first years, you are not studying psychology or sociology or, any of those. You are still in your first 2 years, and then you apply to the subject that you want to study. So that is what universities in Peru, they take 5 years. So it's 2 years of general studies, no? Mainly, not all the universities work the same way, but that is, like the general approach. 2 years of general studies. It can be in science or social. And then afterwards, you choose the subject that you're going to. So you don't enter the university directly to say, I am going to study mechanical engineering.
I didn't know that. Really? Okay, what I can tell you, there is a database from the Ministry of Education, and I always check the different countries on this website. So it's only available in German, so I can choose Peru again. And it shows, okay, Certificado Oficial de Estudios. This is the name in
Of
Peru
the school.
of the certificate, right?
Yes, that's the secondary education.
And then it says this certificate allows to apply for Studienkolleg. and
Yeah.
students can apply for any subject, like T course, M course, G course, W course, doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
They get direct admission, this one, which is subject restricted when they combine the certificado with 1 year of successfully studies. But as you just mentioned, that the first 2 years are general studies and they do not really focus on a specific branch, then it's somehow a little difficult to say.
Mm-hmm. So they could, a student with 1 year of certificado oficial plus 1 year of university, and then I can apply to university.
Yes. Mhm.
And they would have to take a test, or only the German, or also math.
Well, they can no, there is no test they have to take. They just apply with the documents which are required, and that would be this certificado, the proof of 1 year of successful studies, and the proof of the specific language certificate, like German certificate or English certificate, doesn't matter, depending on where they are applying, at what university, for what program, and what is requested. Yeah, but there is no entrance examination. In some subjects, yes, like in architecture, because universities, of course, need to check whether you are the creative and smart head to have these visual ideas, and also when you would like to study art, then you have to show kind of samples you have created yourself, because they of course would like to see your talent. Isn't it the same in Peru? So everyone can study art even though you are so very untalented?
Well, in Peru, normally there are basically two paths to enter university. So if you just have your diploma, no, el oficial de estudios, you would have to take an entry test. I don't think a portfolio. I mean, you can be the most uncreative person and still go to art. And then you fail. And then you don't pass, and then that's bad luck, no? And then the other path would be that you go through an academy. So each university has an academy that you can take, and it replaces the entrance test. So you take the course, and if you pass the course, you are in the university.
Okay. Okay.
So those would be the two basic paths, no? So take the test or take the course and pass the course.
I remember to my times when I finished school, I wanted actually to study architecture because my dad was in that field and I loved to draw and to paint, etc. So I was invited to take an entrance exam. I failed completely. An alternative program I wanted to study was art. So I had to send a portfolio first with samples. And when they think this is fine, okay, you were invited. So they invited me, and then you had to take a test at the university, and I completely failed. So really frustrating. And then I studied something I, to be honest, didn't want to study. This was because I always was connected to the economic part in all my schooling years. So I was never connected to technique for architecture and never to art. So that was just kind of a hobby. So at the end, I studied something completely different, and right now I'm doing something completely different in my working life than I studied. So you never know how things are working, right? But
Yeah, exactly. You never know. No, hopefully that you have, something that you really like, uh, and that you are confident also, no? Like,
yes,
knowing,
definitely.
Yeah, knowing what you like is so difficult because you're so young also when you finish school. Like, I think each person has a different, path. But when I finished, as I told you, I finished school like 40 years ago or more. No, 40 more or more. Well, so, back then the story was completely different, because when I finished school, there were only like 5 universities in Peru. And as I told you, we would go to the university here. So you finish school here and then go to the university. So back then there were no these like pre-academies that didn't exist. So the only possibility you had to go into university was to take in the test. You had to pass the test. But because there were only 5 universities and all the 5 universities are teaching all the subjects. So let's say if you wanted to study engineering, there were 2 universities. If you wanted to study medicine, there was 1 university. No, back then. So let's say if you wanted to study, and medicine, I think too, no? So if you wanted to study medicine in the most prestigious university, it was only maybe 1 out of 200 or 300 students applying. So it was very traumatic. If you wanted to study engineering, there were like 2, maybe 3 universities. So it was 1 out of 100 students. And in another, in like the public university, it was maybe 1 out of 300, 400 students. It was super difficult to enter a university on my time, no? So
Yeah,
I think,
but everything changed so quickly.
yeah.
And
So, I was thinking, what am I going to study? And I didn't know what, because I wanted to study, I knew I wanted to become a comedian. I wanted to be an actress. But my parents said, no,
really?
no, because you know, back then your parents had a lot of influence, no? So you're not going to be that because you're going to become a drug addict. So I said, yeah, okay, what else can I study? So I thought, oh, I want to study sociology because I had done, a term in England and I studied sociology. And I thought it was a very interesting subject that wasn't offered in the school back then. So I'm going to be a sociologist. Yeah, second choice. No, because you're going to be a communist. Hi. Then what can I study? What do you let me study? So I thought, well, if I'm not going to study, what I want to study, I am going to look for the university that is the easiest to enter because I'm not going to suffer, for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I studied psychology in a
Okay.
university that, it was not for like spaces because in most universities is what there are 100 spaces available and everybody's not fighting for them. But in this university, if you pass the exam, you were in the university, so they would be able to open more classes if needed. No,
Mhm.
so that's
And you finished your
everybody has
studies?
a different path. So, I studied that. And, it's because, of, the things you like. When I finished psychology, I went to work in marketing. So, marketing is a mixture of sociology, psychology, and business. So at the end, I found my path back again. No?
Mhm. Yeah, it's very interesting.
And, it's
And
difficult, no? But nowadays, to enter university in Peru is not difficult because there are millions of universities, millions. I
mhm.
know millions is an exaggeration, but I mean, it is easier to enter a university than to enter a school because the offer now has, grown a lot. But, the young people, I think they still have that worry of, what they like. No, so I saw it like, for example, in my daughter. And my daughter, I didn't tell her anything about my sociology story. And she said, Mother, I'm going to study sociology. And say, okay, go for it. No, but she wanted to study in a particular university in England and she didn't get a score. So she went for, for the second choice. And I said, no, wait for the first choice But she said, no, you don't understand. So she went to England for 1 year. And after that year, she said, no, I'm not happy. So I said, okay, well, pick something different. And then she said, Mother, it is so, so difficult because I don't know what I like. I still don't know what I like. And so being 19, she entered, one of these pre-programs in Peru. And now she's studying business with technology.
And
And she
is
said,
she
yeah.
happy?
She's super happy. She's super happy.
Okay.
She's studying programming, coding, something she never thought she would do. And she's enjoying her studies. So, I mean, there are several paths, no? So if a young person really knows what they love, it's a gift. It's a gift, they know. Otherwise,
Yes, absolutely. Definitely.
yeah, they can study, something I would say practical, no? That's why that will let you work in different fields. And little by little, you do the things you love and you find your way.
Is she back in Peru or yeah? Happy mom.
Yes, because she studied so many years abroad and she says, I'm not. So we're super close now. So it's
Okay.
fantastic.
Yeah, perfect. Yes.
Yeah. So each
But
person is a story,
yeah, definitely. So I do have a question to Mari. Do we say Mari or Mary? Mari?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Okay. And
Mary or Mary, it's okay.
okay. So you are working together. So are you also in the field of like the German section, for example, or do you support parents or how does it work? So how are you connected, or do you have any specific program you are familiar with? Do you provide information regarding higher education in different countries?
I'm in charge of the camps, actually, the higher education, enrollments, support the parents, answer so many questions they have.
Okay,
Also
so
the students, of course, if they need some more information or choose the right program, so I can help them.
Okay, so are you connected with well, you have the Goethe Institute in Lima, right?
Yeah.
And they do provide German courses for any age, or how does it work? Any age.
Yeah.
Okay.
All ages, yes.
And there is a Humboldt school as well in
Yeah.
Lima.
Yes, yes.
So you are connected with them as well?
It's a school.
Yeah. So there's
It's
a
a school.
Humboldt school. No, so
Mm-hmm.
it's a big school here. It's German oriented, no? So they have I think they have the Abitur, and they also have, like the additional years for the students so they can apply directly to the university. And they handle their own exchange programs. So the students, when they are at school, they benefit from these exchange programs. So the students go to homestays. Yeah. And of course, we also serve students from Humboldt Institute because many parents, they don't like their children to go to homestay accommodation. And also like these homestay accommodation programs, normally you have to go like for 2 months. So it is not so flexible. And in many cases, the families in Peru that send the children, they have to receive a student from Germany. So the engagement is very strong, no? So it's a long term, 2 months, then you go to a homestay, and then you have to receive a student. So not all the families are prepared for such a deal, you know? So even from the schools, because not only Humboldt School, also other schools that teach German, they have these programs that they handle on their own. And there's also another association, CAPA, in Peru. They're also prestigious, and they are offering this kind of courses. And they also, the requirement to enter this program, I think, is B1 or B2. So we can work with the students coming from the schools that are offering these kind of programs, but they don't want to travel for so many weeks, or they want a residential accommodation, or they're looking also for programs that have assured like excursions and the fun. Because if you go to a homestay, it's a lottery. Maybe they have a lot of activities for you, or maybe none. So
Yes.
it is a lottery. When you go to Humboldt Institute, it's not a lottery, you know. As you said at the beginning, it's reliable, no? So what you say what you're offering is exactly what is gonna happen.
Yes,
So
exactly.
for many families, that is, you know, something very good. And then they don't have to receive a student because maybe their house is not prepared, you know, they don't have the extra room to accommodate a student. So they prefer, you know, this kind of experience that definitely, you know, the price is higher per week, but I would say the outcome is super reliable, and the fun is assured, and the learning is a guarantee. So, I mean, there's, you know, for each person, there's a choice.
And what about the feedback? I mean, those students you sent to Humboldt, they came back to you with the feedback, or the parents, how they liked
Yeah,
their
the feedback is extraordinary, really.
Perfect,
And
wonderful.
They are super happy.
super, super happy, yes, because as Mary was saying, you know, Mary is the admission director of in Escuelas del Mundo. So she helps all the parents, you know, go through the enrollment process and make sure that, you know, the quality of the trip is organized perfectly from the moment that you choose the program until your child comes back home. Everything is super well organized. So that Mary's doing that. And, you know, have been working for about 15 years. So when you started working in Humboldt Institute, we started, you know, working in this field as well. So basically, you know, most of our experience is around teenagers programs. So we send, you know, it can be to England or to Germany or to France, Switzerland, the States. So we have the representation of the most prestigious schools programs that run when our holidays are on. And also we can offer the experience of boarding schools. So in that case, you know, the students can travel when they're, you know, they can just go. But as I told you at the beginning, you know, lots of the families are more and more interested that the children study abroad once they finish school. So we are also preparing ourselves, not necessarily to, you know, to give the assessment to enter university, because as you know, you know your field, and it's very sophisticated, you know, and I'm sure even after 15 years of experience, you're still doing the research because you have
I
to be,
do. I do, because
yes,
we are always talking about individuals, and it's not, as mentioned, a red line which applies for everyone. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So each person, so you want to give the person the best experience. So that's why you need to know, you know, what they want to study, and then you have to see where in Germany they could study what they want to study. And it's a dynamic, it's like a life process. So it is very sophisticated. I think, to enter this field, you need a person who is going to be dedicated to this field, no? So so that's why we're not entering, that area, at least not for the moment. Because, how do we know where's the best place for you to study? Germany, Holland, England, which university? So it's too complicated, no? To be really serious, because we are serious, so we want to offer a serious service. So we want to offer the best option for the student. And entering, that field of higher education it's a different branch. It's a different, industry. So for
But
them,
I'm happy if you say it's an increasing market. And I think we are that school where you get everything from one hand, and this makes it so very special because it's not just about the German course, it's about also every further steps coming after the German course, and we take care that we're gonna make sure that the student will get into. We of course can never guarantee any admission. The same for you, the same for me. When I applied, I mean, I received rejections as well from German universities. So how can I make sure to give any international students the guarantee to get admitted at a German university? So this is something we don't have in hands. This is a decision made by the universities. But at least I can tell you that as long as we are providing and supporting the student, we try our best to bring him to that point when we can let him or her go. And let's say in 95%, I can remember we had once a student from the US, and he finished the regular high school in the US. And usually they are allowed to apply for the admission to a Studienkolleg. And in his high school diploma, there was a lack of only one subject he could not provide in the final certificate. And that was the big thing, because he invested a lot of time and a lot of money for learning German. And when we did the application and his documents were evaluated, and then we received a rejection that he does not fulfill the requirements. And that was, of course, especially for him, but also for me, I was so very disappointed and trying to find any other solution at a private university or Studienkolleg. So I tried everything, but at the end, he flew back home. So we couldn't help finding a place for him. And that was really disappointing. But as mentioned, 95% were connected to a Studienkolleg university successfully.
yeah, I mean,
Well, that happens. This is
yeah,
life.
that happens, that happens. And the students, that they should, try to be the best possible students they can be when they are at school. But I think nowadays, different to what it was in my time, I think that the schools are encouraging a lot, and the students now, it's like, you can be cooler if you are cool and a good student at the same time.
Yes.
So that is, what's happening now. So I think, like most of the students finishing school now are more and more serious about their studies. So
Yeah, it would be very nice to welcome students for that program at the Humboldt Institute. I mean, now I hope you have a better idea about how that works in Germany. Also about the Studienkolleg and what could be suitable for those who do the IB diploma, that we also have universities offering English programs that might be very interesting. So in case of any further questions related to this program, I just can tell you, feel free to contact me anytime.
I thank you, Mia. That's really, really kind, really kind.
And
I think, we have been talking for 1.5 hours, and it has been so interesting. I think we've gone through all the possibilities, no? So be-
Lucrecia, whenever you arrange any fair in Peru and you need any German language school presenting their programs, please send your invitation.
yeah.
Because you know, last year I told my boss, well, I really miss this traveling part because that was the most and these were the best years. So I love to be connected to the people I work with. I mean, sending all the emails and you do not see their faces, you know, it's always different, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, and I miss so many things when I don't have conversations like that.
Mia, we're going to invite you very soon. We're going to have the perfect event. We can say the perfect excuse, but I mean, it would not be an excuse because the reason is there. Of course it is.
Yes,
So
and
we're going to
know,
find, the best bridge, work this through. So, people can, meet you in person and learn about all the things, and but they're going to have their own questions.
Okay. So whenever you try to plan, let me know. And I try to arrange a meeting in Peru.
Super.
And you know what? I was in Peru for a month many years ago. And I think things changed so much when I was in Cusco and we did this trip for 3 days to Machu Picchu.
Oh, me muero,
And
the Inca Trail.
when we were in on top of Machu Picchu, so little people were there. And I think nowadays there are massive of person, huh? I
You're
mean,
lucky.
you know, the time when I did this 1 year break off, we had no smartphones. So I went to the city sending to an internet cafe and I sent a message to my parents once in 2 weeks, right? So that was adventure. And you have no
Yeah.
idea how to survive in Chile for half a year and what to do in Peru. And you know, you do not really speak Spanish. But that was traveling in a different way. And it's so very sad that this does not exist anymore because that was fun. And I have never felt this feeling of freedom so much as to those times when I traveled without a smartphone. I just had
Yeah.
a notebook and the internet cafe in the next bigger city. So yeah,
Those days
really
are gone,
miss
Mia.
it.
You're not so young, huh?
I know. Well, in about 4 weeks, I do have a school meeting after 25 weeks. Not 40 though, but 25 weeks, years. So now I'm 41.
Ah,
Yes.
super. Super. Congratulations. Send us a piece of cake.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So
thank you, Mia. It's been really fantastic, a pleasure, a big pleasure exchanging all this knowledge and ideas and learning from you.
thank
And
you so
we're
much,
we're
Stephanie.
we're going to find a bridge to bring you in.
Okay. Okay, mucho gusto en conocerte, a los dos. And we keep in contact, okay?
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so
Okay.
much.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a
Bye-bye.
good day too.